A father and his son were harvesting watermelons in their field. The boy was tired and thirsty and he wanted to take a break, but he kept at it. Finally, his dad stopped and said, "Son, you're working too hard. You need to take a break and have some watermelon." So they sat down under the shade of a big tree and started eating. After a while, the boy looked up at his dad and asked, "Dad, why do we have to wait for the watermelons to ripen? Why can't we just plant them and immediately get big, juicy watermelons?" The dad thought for a moment and then said, "Well, son, it's because we planted the seeds too early in the spring. We had a late frost that year, and that's why the watermelons didn't grow properly." The boy was disappointed, but he understood. He learned that sometimes things don't turn out the way you want them to, even if you work hard. Then, after a while, the boy asked another question. "Dad, why do we have to wait until the watermelon is ripe before we pick it? Can't we just pick it now and plant it somewhere else? Then we can get to watermelons instead of one." The dad smiled and said, "That's a great idea, son, but it won't work. It's because the watermelon grows bigger and riper every day, and if we pick it too early, it will be bitter and not very good to eat." The boy thought about this for a moment, then he looked at his dad and said, "So what should we do with this watermelon when it's ripe? Should we just throw it away?" "Well," said the dad, "we can give it to our neighbors, or maybe we can sell it at the market." The boy thought about this for a moment, then he looked at his dad and asked, "Can't we just plant the seeds inside the watermelon, Dad? That way we can grow more watermelons without having to wait for them to ripen." The dad laughed and said, "That's a great idea, son, but it won't work. The seeds inside the watermelon are just for planting next year's crop. They won't grow into watermelons until next year." The boy was disappointed, but he understood sometimes things don't turn out the way you want them to, even if you try really hard. The boy was quiet for a moment as he thought about what his dad had told him. Then he finally spoke up and asked, "So what's the point of all this, Dad? Why do we have to wait for everything?" The dad smiled and said, "Because sometimes waiting is the best way to get what you want. If we don't wait for the watermelon to ripen, it will be bitter and not very good to eat. And if we don't wait for the seeds to grow, we won't have any watermelons to harvest. But if we wait, we will get what we want. Waiting can be hard, but it's worth it in the end." The boy thought about what his dad had told him and realized that it was only a